Hi, I'm Aston Merrygold, and this is my business partner and very good friend Dax O'Callaghan, and we are the founders and directors of Bass Dance Studios. I started dancing basically in a boy band.
I started dancing at an early age. I started singing and acting through a school, Sylvia Young's.
So Bass Studios actually started out as an idea on a napkin, which was very, very funny. We literally, randomly walking around town, central London, minding our own business, bumped into each other, hadn't seen each other for a few weeks. And literally just thought it'd be a great idea to come up with some ideas, production ideas, show ideas, and we went, should we just open a dance studio? As a laugh. Wrote it down and was like, okay, this actually sounds like a good idea. A year and 2 months later, I believe, the studio was actually up and running. So it's this kind of little thing on this little white napkin kind of turned into this massive 7-studio building. So it's yeah, pretty much a dream come true. Obviously we needed flooring, and with the business that we're in, it's probably the most important thing in terms of if you want a longevity career. As such, you need to maintain your body and make sure you're always in tip-top shape. And so when we first came up with the idea, it was that everything has to be, I suppose, from the base up, has to be perfect. It's all about, I suppose, longevity for us. And when we were kind of searching for all these companies to work for, we'd obviously found Harlequin online, but a few friends of ours had also said, oh, we know of this company, we've seen them at certain events like Move It and other companies like this that are kind of all come together and kind of showcase what they do for the industry. So when we actually kind of got in contact with Harlequin, it was a bit like a no-brainer. Do you know what I mean? You have the best floors for the best place, for the place where you want the industry to all kind of congregate to. So that was kind of the idea at first, and the fact that it's come to fruition now is absolutely amazing.
Once we started speaking to Harlequin, it was a really transparent and easy process for us. We had obviously spoken to different floor companies, but Harlequin we already knew were by far the best. And actually, you know, the only company that arranged to meet us and wanted to speak through what we were doing. So they wanted to find the process behind and sort of the business plan and where the idea had come from and where we were going. For us, that was important because we don't have any investors in this. We've literally put our own money into this. So we've always tried to dress for where we're going rather than where we're at. And Harlequin were really supportive of that and wanted to know where we were going. And so it was a long-term business. And for us, that was so important. And sort of all the packages and the information we got, broke it down to the flooring, the top floor to the sprung floor, how it was going to be laid. So for us, being our first studios that were opening, it was really simple and everything was planned out, and Harlequin made it such an easy process with the information they gave. And as Aston said, with the quality that they laid, it was absolutely no-brainer for us because we just wanted the best. Whatever else happens around, the studios have to be top quality, and yeah, it was an easy process.
When it comes to picking a floor, we've always been on the same page. We've always wanted that kind of classic feel. Obviously, you want that longevity of your body, and you really want to feel, you know, fresh after rehearsing, because the Super Spring floor, I've literally been rehearsing all week and my body feels like brand new, and I'm not brand new. So the fact that you can come out of a rehearsal and actually feel really good, and you just feel, I don't know, you feel comfortable when on these floors as well. And it's like, I definitely throw myself about, and a lot of my dancers throw myself about. You try a couple of tricks from time to time. There's a lot of kids that come to the studio as well that are always, you know, trying new things and tricks and new routines. And for us, it was just, had to be certain of going, we need something that's comfortable, durable, looks great, and safe.
Coming from a performance background for us both, we were really sensitive to the longevity of the careers and the bodies of the dancers. And actually, I mean, we always knew, especially on paper as well, people told us they were the best floors, but actually watching Aston rehearse with these dancers and the dance classes on, seeing the sprung floor in action, they can actually see it. You can just see how it's just soaking up the movement of the dancers. So you can see firsthand when watching the dancers perform that it's helping their bodies. So having kids here is so important for us, to sort of install a nice community and positiveness with dance. So to see them using the sprung floors and knowing their bodies are safe, and it's going to just stop injuries in the long term, and this is really important for us. And as well as sort of common sense, no-brainer is the professional dancers here. I mean, they're going hammer and tong on these floors, and they're durable as well as safety. So for us, we really need this because we're facilitating a business, and we want them to have the best that they can have, and we want sort of the best of the people here as well. So knowing to protecting their bodies while they're performing, that's what we want.
Throw it back to like the 60s when some of the greatest have been, you know, performing and rehearsing, and you look at some of the really old school studios and it's just a bit like, that's a classic look, that's a studio, that's where I want to be, that's where I want to be involved in. And you know, with Fiesta Vine, it was a bit like, that's going to kind of really give it like that finishing touch for our studio. And we're going to be recommending Harlequin to every single person that comes through that door, kind of really inspired and wants to open their studio. I think if they ever need any help, we're only going to point them in the direction of Harlequin, because we've just been so happy from the start to, as I said, I don't see a finish.
We have all sort of commercial classes, hip hop classes, we have ballet, jazz, tap, and from beginner levels, intermediate, all the way to advanced and professional. So we're trying to facilitate dance as a whole, but for us there's no walls, there's no rules with it. We're open to collaborate with people, and that's why it's called Base, because we believed when we first had the idea on the napkin that this is something that could facilitate everybody. It's not about us whatsoever. So we feel like we're just playing a role, and we wanted to keep growing and open up more studios around the world in different countries, and hopefully bring this idea, this original idea we had, to everybody. And that's where we want to work with companies, how Harlequin have, they want to work with us for the longevity, for where we're going, not specifically where we may be at the minute. It's all about open minds, breaking down barriers and breaking rules, and that's really what Base is. It's a base for your class and your business.
There's one specific studio, the James Brown studio, that is pointed towards, I suppose, the Strictly dancers, let's say, the more ballroom dancers, Latin dancers of this world. And with my experience of being on the show Strictly Come Dancing, it's actually amazing. I have to say, like, being in there and rehearsing, I've had some of the Strictly cast actually come down and be in that room and rehearse on the floor. It's a bit like, okay, this is actually quite crazy that, you know, such a franchise like this is actually really, I suppose, invested into Base and into Harlequin. And I think they were quite thankful, I suppose, to have this difference in like a hard wooden floor and a sprung floor, instead of just, I suppose, a regular rehearsal sprung floor, to see these amazing professionals come in and actually notice the difference to the flooring. So that was quite a, because we had to tip our hat a bit of that and kind of go, that was a good idea. This is a relationship with us and Harlequin that's going to last for a very long time. It started off on the best it could be, and I think with us wanting to open up new studios all around the world, it's a relationship that's definitely going to last that. So I suppose we just have to kind of say thank you.